Hi, everyone. Welcome back to English Vision, the podcast. Today, we're going to talk about something really useful for your everyday conversations, how to talk about your day at work in English. Even if you are just starting out, by the end of this episode, you'll be able to share your workday stories with confidence. Are you ready, Robert?
Absolutely, Emma. Talking about your day at work might sound simple, but there are lots of little details that can make your conversation much more interesting and natural. And it's a topic you can practice every day.
Exactly. So let's start with the basics, greeting someone at work and starting the conversation. For example, you could say, "Hi, how was your day?" Or, "Hey, how's work going?" These are simple, friendly ways to start.
Right. And then you can give a short answer first, like, "It was good, thanks," or "Busy, but I managed." Simple, short sentences are great at the beginning because they give you confidence, and then you can add more details later.
Let's try a mini dialogue to show how this works. Robert, you start. I'll respond.
"Hey, Emma, how was your day at work?"
"It was really busy, but I got a lot done. How about you?"
"Pretty good, but I had a few meetings back to back. It was a little tiring."
See, that was simple and natural. You can practice this every day with a friend, or even by yourself in front of a mirror.
Now, let's talk about adding more details. You can describe what kind of work you did, how you felt, or even something funny that happened. For example, "I worked on a new project today, and it was exciting because I learned something new."
Yes, that's perfect. You can also use expressions like, "It was hectic," "It was relaxing," or "It was challenging." These words give more feeling to your story.
And don't forget to use small connecting words like "then," "after that," and "finally." They help your story flow naturally.
Let's try another example. Today, I started by checking my emails, then I had a team meeting, after that I worked on my report, and finally I finished my day by planning for tomorrow.
That's great. You just told a full story about your day in a very simple way. Listeners, repeat after us. I start by, then I, after that, finally I.
Yes, repeat it with me. I start by checking my emails, then I have a meeting, after that I work on my project. Finally, I finish my day.
Perfect. See, it's easy to practice and remember. And the more you practice, the more confident you will become speaking English about your daily life.
Exactly, Robert. And remember, it's okay if you make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. Every time you speak, you're improving.
Another important thing is talking about how you feel during your day. You can say, "I felt tired," "I felt excited," or even, "I felt stressed." These small expressions make your story more real and interesting.
Absolutely. For example, "I had a long meeting today and I felt a little tired, but it was productive." Or, "I finished my project and I felt really proud of myself."
And sometimes you can add a little detail about why you felt that way. Like, "I was tired because I had back-to-back meetings," or "I was happy because my team liked my presentation."
That's true. This makes your sentences longer and more natural without being too complicated.
Mini dialogues are really useful for practice. Let's try one about feelings. Emma, you start.
Today was a bit stressful, Robert.
"Oh no, why was that?"
I had 3 important deadlines and I had to finish them all by the end of the day.
"That sounds challenging. Did you manage to finish everything?"
Yes, finally I finished and I felt relieved.
That's great. See how we added feelings and small details? Listeners, try repeating this dialogue with a friend or even by yourself.
Another tip is to talk about something funny or unusual that happened at work. This makes the conversation more lively. For example, today my coffee spilled on my desk and everyone laughed.
Yes, adding humor or little surprises is very natural in English conversations, and you don't need to use difficult words to do this.
Let's practice that. Imagine your funny moment at work and say it like this. "I was typing an email and suddenly my cat jumped on my keyboard."
Listeners, repeat after us. I was typing an email and suddenly...
My cat jumped on my keyboard.
Perfect. See how fun it is? Speaking English doesn't have to be serious all the time.
Exactly. And if you want to sound even more natural, you can use short phrases that English speakers use every day, like, "You won't believe what happened," "Guess what?" or "Can you imagine?"
Those phrases are great for starting a story. For example, "Guess what happened at work today? My computer stopped working right in the middle of a meeting."
Or, you won't believe what my boss said today. It made me laugh so much.
See how easy it is to make your stories interesting? And listeners, repeat after us. Guess what happened at work today?
You won't believe what my boss said today.
Excellent. Using these phrases will make your conversations more lively and fun.
And don't forget to ask questions back to the person you're talking to, like, how was your day? Or did anything exciting happen to you?
That's right. Conversations are two-way, so always give the other person a chance to speak.
This is a really good habit, especially if you want to make friends or improve your English quickly.
Now, another useful tip is to describe challenges you face during your day. You can say, I had a difficult task, it was a complicated project, or I struggled with something.
Yes, and after describing the challenge, you can explain how you solved it. For example, I had a difficult task, but I asked my colleague for help and we finished it together.
That's a perfect example. It's always good to show solutions because it makes your story more complete.
Another way to practice is to think of 3 main parts of your day: what you did, how you felt, and any interesting or funny event. Then you can tell your story step by step.
Let's do a mini story together. I'll start with what I did. Today, I worked on updating our website.
Then you can say how you felt. I felt a bit nervous because it was my first time making big changes.
And then the interesting part. While updating, I accidentally deleted a small section, but luckily I could restore it quickly.
That's a complete story. Notice how we used simple words, connected events, and added feelings.
Listeners, repeat after us. I worked on, I felt, then.
I worked on updating our website, I felt nervous, then I accidentally deleted a small section, but I restored it.
Perfect. Using this structure helps you remember sentences and speak more naturally.
You can also add short opinions to make your story more personal, like, I think this project is very interesting, or I really enjoyed today.
Yes, opinions make your sentences more expressive, and you can also ask your listener their opinion. For example, what do you think about this? Or have you ever experienced something similar?
Another tip is to use time expressions like in the morning, after lunch, in the afternoon, and at the end of the day. These words help your listener understand the order of events.
Let's do a practice story using time expressions. In the morning, I answered emails. After lunch, I attended a meeting. In the afternoon, I worked on my report. And at the end of the day, I reviewed my tasks for tomorrow.
Excellent! That story is clear and easy to follow. Listeners, repeat. In the morning, after lunch, in the afternoon, at the end of the day.
These small phrases make your English sound very natural, and they are easy to use in every conversation.
Now, let's talk about short expressions you can use when you feel tired or stressed. You can say, I'm exhausted, it's been a long day, or I'm a bit tired.
Right, and if something was very easy, you can say it was simple, it was easy, or it was smooth.
By using these expressions, you make your sentences more real and personal, and your listener will feel like they are part of your day too.
Listeners, repeat with us. I'm exhausted, it was simple, it's been a long day.
That's it. These phrases are very short but powerful. You can use them every day to describe your feelings at work.
Another way to make your stories more engaging is by adding small details about your workplace or your colleagues. For example, my office is very bright and sunny today. Or, my colleague helped me a lot during a difficult task.
Yes, small details make your story more vivid. You can also mention sounds, smells, or even moods in the office. For example, the coffee machine was very loud this morning, or everyone seemed very happy after the meeting.
And you can combine details with feelings to make sentences even better. Like, the office was quiet, so I felt relaxed while working.
Another tip is to use questions that invite the other person to share their story too. For example, what about you? Did you have a busy day? Or how was your afternoon?
Exactly. Conversations are more interesting when both people talk and ask questions. It shows you are interested in listening.
We can also practice linking words to make your sentences flow better. Words like because, so, but, and then are very useful.
For example, I was tired because I had many meetings, but I still managed to finish my work. Or, I answered emails, and then I prepared my presentation.
These small words are easy, but they make your English sound natural. Listeners, repeat after us. Because, so, but, and then.
Another great idea is to describe a challenge with a little story. For example, I had a problem with my computer this morning, but I fixed it by restarting it.
Or, I wanted to finish my report, but the printer stopped working, so I had to wait.
You can also add a small lesson or advice at the end of your story. Like, next time I will save my work more often, or I will ask for help earlier.
That makes your stories complete and more interesting for the listener. And it also helps you practice using different tenses in English.
Let's do a mini dialogue, including details, feelings, and advice. Emma, you start.
Today my computer was very slow, and I felt frustrated.
Oh no, what did you do?
I restarted it, and luckily it worked again. Next time I will make sure to save my work more often.
That's a good idea. I also had a busy day, but I managed to finish my tasks by organizing them one by one.
See how we combined feelings, details, actions, and advice? Listeners, try making your own story this way.
Another tip is to use simple expressions to show excitement or relief, like, I'm so happy, I feel great, or what a relief.
These small phrases make your English sound very natural and friendly, and they are perfect for work conversations.
Repeat with us. I'm so happy, I feel great, what a relief.
Excellent. Using these phrases make your conversations lively and fun.
Another way to make your workday stories more interesting is by talking about routines. You can describe what you usually do and then compare it with what happened today.
For example, I usually start my day with emails, but today I started with a meeting. Or, I normally finish work at 6 p.m., but today I stayed a little later. Comparisons like this make your English more natural and give your listener more context. You can use words like usually, normally, sometimes, and always. Let's practice that together. I usually have a coffee break at 10 a.m., but today I didn't have time.
That's great. And I normally check my emails first, but today I started working on a new project right away.
You can also use words like more than or less than to compare your tasks. For example, today I had more emails than usual, or I spent less time in meetings today.
Many dialogues with comparisons are really helpful for practice. Emma, try asking me a question about my day.
Did you have more tasks today than yesterday?
Yes, I had more tasks, but they were easier than yesterday's tasks.
Perfect. That's exactly how you can make your story longer and more detailed.
Another tip is to describe your colleagues or teamwork. You can say, my colleague helped me a lot, or we worked as a team on a big project.
And you can add opinions like, I really enjoyed working with my team today, or it was nice to get help from my colleague.
Using teamwork stories is great because many conversations at work are about cooperation and collaboration.
Another idea is to describe tasks you found interesting or new. For example, I learned a new skill today, or I worked on a project I've never done before.
That's a perfect way to show progress and make your conversation positive. You can also add excitement, like, it was really interesting, or I felt excited to try it.
Listeners, repeat with us. I learned a new skill today. I worked on a project I've never done before. It was really interesting.
Another fun way to extend your story is to talk about small surprises during the day. Like, I got a message from my boss praising my work. Or, I received a coffee from a colleague.
These little events make your story more personal and relatable. People love to hear small surprises in everyday life.
And you can combine surprises with feelings, like, I was so happy to get a message from my boss.
Or, I was surprised because I didn't expect anyone to help me today. Listeners, repeat after us. I was so happy to get a message. I was surprised because I didn't expect it. Excellent. Using feelings, routines, comparisons, and surprises makes your English conversations much more engaging.
And the best part is, all these techniques are simple, and you can use them every day at work or with friends.
Now, let's try combining everything we've learned today into a full story about a workday. I'll start, and you can add your part, Robert. This morning, I arrived at the office a bit early, and I felt excited because I had a new project to start. The office was quiet, so I could focus on my tasks.
After that, I joined a team meeting, and it was very productive. My colleague shared some helpful tips, and I learned something new.
Around mid-morning, I checked my emails, and there were many messages to answer. It was a bit stressful, but I managed to finish them all.
Then I had a small problem with my computer, but I restarted it and luckily it worked again. I felt relieved because I could continue my work without delay.
At lunch, I chatted with a friend at work, and we laughed about a funny email we received. It was nice to take a short break and relax a little. In the afternoon, I worked on the new project, and it was challenging but also very interesting. I felt proud when I completed the first part successfully. Later, I helped a colleague with their task, and we finished it together. It was great to collaborate and feel part of a team.
Finally, I reviewed my tasks for tomorrow and planned my schedule. It felt satisfying to end the day organized and ready for the next day.
See how our story has details, feelings, small surprises, routines, and teamwork? You can use this same method to talk about your day at work in English.
Listeners, try making your own full story now. Start with the morning, describe what you did, how you felt, any surprises, and finish with the end of your day.
And remember, use small connecting words like then, after that, because, and so to make your story flow naturally.
Don't forget to include your opinions, feelings, and mini dialogues with colleagues. These little details make your English sound real and friendly.
Repeat after us, listeners. I felt excited. It was challenging but interesting. I helped a colleague. I felt proud.
Perfect. Practicing these sentences every day will make talking about your workday much easier and more natural.
And don't worry if you make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning, and every time you speak, you improve. That's right. The key is to practice, practice, and practice again. We hope this episode helps you feel more confident talking about your day at work in English. Keep using these tips, and soon you'll be able to share your workday stories naturally with anyone. Thanks so much for listening to English Vision, the podcast. Make sure to practice every day and share your stories with friends or colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fun and helpful English lessons. See you next time. Subscribe and bye.